you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Ooh, it is time again. Board game time. So, in honor of what's going on in the world, I decided to pull out a game that was designed by some Ukrainian board game designers. It is Mysterium. It is amazing. And even though it's unboxed, I thought we could go through some of it, look at some of the really beautiful art, and then talk about how we integrate it with the Dixit cards that we have before. So, what? No, we were gonna do the Ukrainian game for the Ukrainians. Are are you muted? Like I can hear you,
Yeah,
which I
no, I am
appreciate.
muted again. It wouldn't be Thunderballs if I wasn't muted.
There we go. I
There we
mean,
go.
everyone just tunes in to hear what I have to say anyway.
It's true. Okay, so board games aside, and really one day we will actually get to the board game. Um,
Maybe.
but that day is not quite today. So wow, it's I was actually I think I told my team I was training during the last round, so I had a lot to catch up on. I barely saw what was going on all the way through the round. It was crazy, and I think that was reflected in how I played because I just didn't. I just didn't play well at all. Um,
It
so
was contagious for the whole team.
it was contagious for the entire team. Spoilers coming. Can we take a moment to acknowledge Alex's shirt, which seems to
No,
have a lot of Baby Yoda on it. If I don't,
because you can never have enough Baby Yoda.
there is probably not enough Grogu that you could have that would be too much. It's true.
No.
So let's get going. Let's have a look at the standings as we go. As we go into round 5, there's a fine, upstanding team at the top of that table, looking glorious in its undefeated glory. I'm sure nothing bad could possibly happen, Al, to such a team.
I remember last season there was an undefeated team, and we kept telling them to lose because it would make the season more interesting. And I'm sure there isn't sort of any karmic retribution for that this week.
No possible karma coming their way at all. And similarly, we've got a team at the bottom that's currently winless, so we'll see if they can do anything about that. But it's time for tea. Now, I am a bit shy on tea this week, Al. I'm terribly sorry. I've let you down, buddy. But what tea we have, I will give you. Now, there is a member of one of the teams who likes a bracket or two, shall we say. And they used to have their birthdays at a river house. They'd invite several of their close friends. And because it was March, everyone would bring beer. And there was a tradition about how much beer you would bring. So they'd bring 6 packs of 6 different beers, let them know what it was ahead of time, and a bracket would be constructed. There would be taste testings. Everyone would vote for their favourite pairing in any pairing, and then that beer would move on, and all the extra cans of the losing beer would go into the community drinking cooler. Now, I don't know about you, Al, but honestly, that sounds like a really good idea.
That is the kind of bracketology I can appreciate.
That's proper bracket scientist stuff, yeah. And do we know anyone who might fit that bill, Al?
You mean someone who would organize, like, spend way too much time poring over statistics and matchups and organizing a tournament just
for
for
beer.
fun?
Just for beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I couldn't possibly think of anyone. But I mean, if you guys know, then let us know who you think that is. Now, in another chat, we've got a team of middle-aged white dudes, Al.
I'm shocked that even a team like that would exist in Star Realms.
In Star Realms, middle-aged white dudes. I think they're all parents as well.
Yeah.
Now, conversation got this week to how good they were in the bedroom. And I can exclusively reveal the salacious details to you. Now,
my.
some people pretend to be asleep in the bedroom. Sir Thestral simply denies ever actually sleeping. Like, he can be fully asleep, slapped awake, and deny that he was even asleep in the first place. That's his level of commitment. Juan, apparently, can sleep through absolutely anything and last a really long time in bed, as long as no one wakes him up. Yeti has the masterful powers of instantly waking up or falling asleep at will. Apparently, Chasmo doesn't sleep. Brent can fold a fitted sheet. That's his bedroom prowess. And Cranky sleeps on, wait for it, spreadsheets.
Oh. We went all the way through that just for that joke.
I can neither confirm nor deny how much of that was a setup for the spreadsheet joke.
I'm looking at the number of viewers and I'm waiting for it to plummet.
To just drop. Yeah, so unfortunately, not a huge amount of tea this week. I'm pretty sure Lux at some point forgot that he had balls and forgot to pass them on. I think Viserys might have lost a finger, or at least claimed to have done. But small stuff. But we're going to move on to Court 1.
Right.
And Al, we've got a treat here. We've got Dodge Like an Egyptian, captained by Sato, coming up against Dodgy Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, captained by Raka. And I don't think it's overstating the case to say that this match was absolutely brutal. I had to look at the chart of the game twice, because I was so incredibly shocked by what I saw there. Now, this game was agreed to go ahead as a 7-ball 6 versus 6. That means all players would race, but only 6 from each side would throw. 2 players had agreed to some time away from Dodgeball from the court for the week. So respecting that, it was a 7-ball race, but a 6 versus 6. So that 1 ball was handed off immediately. We go into the race balls, and it's a fairly even split. Dodgy edging Dirty by 4 balls to 3. And sometimes, Al, I wonder if we have too much edging, and then maybe wonder if there's ever enough. However, Raka, perhaps feeling a little saucy, tries to claim a mission's shutout against the Mystic, who calls him out on his dishonest win and makes sure everyone knows that he did get 1 mission, but he did still lose the ball.
Oops.
As a reward, Raka fires immediately in the Mystic's direction, claiming that his plan is foolproof because there is now no missions to count to screw it up. Jester 204 plays a little dirty and throws at employee Vorizori, who perhaps, whether because he maybe is a gentleman or possibly scared for his job, or maybe a third option is that he was simply outplayed, either way, maybe we'll never know, he got to taste leather as Jester's replacement ball, crafted by her own, tans Vorizori to the bench. It's a leatherworker joke there for you all. Alderin throws at Cisco Alvarez, and whilst he can't make the magic happen on the first throw, he does do something on his second. Unfortunately for Alderin, it's to get caught. But don't feel too bad for him, folks. He did get his revenge by utterly dismantling me in the endurance, so I think he'll be okay. Now, the player who looks like Agent Sato takes off their mask to reveal that it was, in fact, events that hit Compton P, who, despite being in the Air Force or from the Air Force, is still capable of forming whole sentences. More on that later. Other ex-servicemen take note. And clearly Ian was sat in the change rooms, leaving his dodgeball automata on autopilot. Still enough, apparently, to get the job done against Compton. Now, Raka does indeed find the target against the Mystic, passing lethal and fishing in order to get the hit, but his next outing is not so joyous, as he throws and Cisco Alvarez, who is not only catching a plane, but also Raka, and the dirty captain is eliminated. Seabus nails Dakaran to the wall, and finally, JP wins slowly, brings home the bacon as he hits that Sean guy. And Al, it's all over in 9 balls. Like,
that's amazing.
Dodge Like an Egyptian, completely and absolutely slaughter. The fastest game ever, I believe. Now it's like, because it was 6 on 6 and it wasn't 7 on 7, it kind of doesn't count for the modern 7 versus 7 era. Right. But it does beat out every other 6 on 6 game in terms of speed. I think pipping the previous fastest game by 1 throw.
Nice.
And I think that was that was when Iman was captain, and because of some rather outrageous draft picking in other areas, had picked up and scooped up all of the first draft players down to like pick 3. So I obviously not a lot of data to go on there, Al. But
Right.
who's your pick for MVP?
I think we have to go for Cisco Alvarez. He got 2 catches, which in a game with only 9 throws, that to get 2 catches in general in one match is really good. To get it with only 9 throws, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. So congratulations to Cisco Alvarez there. We're going to move on to now court 2, and that is never going to get you hit. The team undefeated, sitting happily at the top against the middle-aged dad Doughnut.
Nothing will ever bad happen to them.
Nothing bad is ever going to happen. So the match begins with Brent giving the court his customary song, and it has the desired effect as everyone fails to collect their race ball aside from Captain Chasmo. And clearly, the prophetic title of this game, Never Doughnut, is a prophecy about to be fulfilled, right? Wrong. Clever Missy picks a fight with Mr. Donuts, clearly trying a double-time power move by removing the ball holding captain of the Donuts. Yeah, he's having none of that, though, and Clever Missy finds herself at the mercy of a stale donut as Chasmo catches her and sends her to oblivion. As Wet Yeti and Cory Bear have a battle of the hairy animals, Cranky Day uses the Doughnut trademarked 540-degree psychology on M-Colo as he catches her throw and sends her to join Clever Missy. Baggio 10, however, is ready to save the day as he begins by knocking Brent out and takes his erstwhile metalhead colleague Sir Thestral to Pound Town. Population, those guys. So 2 down each, opening salvos are away, and we're into the mid-game. Chasmo hits SilentAl, who was distracted trying to stop Cranky catch his deliciously thrown Super Choco sprinkled donut, but alas, to no avail. Out goes Al, and back comes Brent. Whilst Yeti is busy removing the bear claws from his plate and taking Corey's ball, Roland Parr is busy catching Lady Stacy, and Sir Thestral comes back onto the field of play. Oh dear. Yeti and Roland Parr now gang up on Stacy, but she's not having any of that. She takes both their balls away and launches an absolute exocet at Osmosis Brent, who has no time to think of a funny song lyric and instead wakes up on the bench mildly concussed. Cranky and Chasmo team up on Hypaspist, who's slightly delirious this week and gets sat down real fast. So now, apparently the strongest player on our team, Baggio, valiantly still trying to make inroads on the Donuts, pops up to try and take out Cranky Day, using his cunning plan. People familiar with Blackadder will know what this sounds like. He's going to use his BGG format against him, and gets caught. And Osmosis Brent, who apparently has more lives than a lucky cat, is back on the court. Much to Lady Stacy's delight, who immediately throws at him again. However, she had already thrown at Cranky Day, and like the 8-armed demon-slaying goddess Durga, Cranky catches and eliminates Lady Stacy without mercy. Cory Bear, meanwhile, can only watch helplessly as the ball he threw at a seemingly sleeping Sir Thestral hits him in the chest, and as Cory Bear begins to celebrate, Sir Thestral's arms clamp around the ball, and he loudly declares that he was awake the whole time. So, that'll be a catch then, and that'll be Cory Bear out. So now it's left to the brave Antipodean, the mighty Bagsman himself. He's able to dodge Roland Parr, but demon-slaying Cranky is on absolute fire and eliminates Baggio before he can do any damage to the Donuts, and that, my friends, is a clean sweep.
Yikes.
So, that went well, Al.
That was horrific.
It was a beating.
Was there anyone on our team who didn't get caught by Cranky at one point?
Caught or hit, I think. Maybe there was one. Maybe there was one. But I mean, it was absolutely a destruction of magnificent proportions.
It was so nice. We won so many race balls and then just got caught immediately over and over and over again.
We had 6 race balls. I think we might have been a bit overconfident. I don't know what happened, but Cranky happened.
I think we rickrolled ourselves on that one.
I think we might have done. So match MVP, Al, if it wasn't obvious already.
It's got to be Cranky Day. He got 2 hits. He got 4 catches. A ridiculous 88% win percentage. if I didn't know him so well, I would think he was fixing it because he is the commissioner. But
Yeah, blatant cheating. But with that said, on to court 3.
Court 3.
Court 3, much better court to discuss rather than court 2. This is For Whom the Ball Tolls, captained by Zim108, versus My Ball Onya, captained by Slavic. So this game starts like the beginnings of a really odd joke. So, Al, there's 2 wolves, an army of penguins, and a thestral on the court, right?
I assume that's the beginning of like a riddle, right? Like I have to get all of those across the river without them eating each other.
that works as well, actually, yeah. Now, looking at the game's chart, there seem to be some distinct phases of the game here. Phase 1, we're going to talk Fire Driller and the Great Chicken Romance. So, For Whom the Ball Tolls, gain ball advantage, 5-2 from the races. But it's Fire Driller who gets things rolling, losing his race ball despite leaving his towel on it. Baha, obviously such a nice guy, feels really bad and just gives Fire Driller his race ball straight back. The German, sensing weakness, goes straight for the throat and sends Baha to the bench club to think on why giving away balls to hairy Germans is probably not his wisest move. So now that Robert's got a ball, he's going to spend basically the first day rolling around on the floor, wrestling with old diving duck teammate and current captain of the opposition, Chicken Zim. Everyone stops to watch this as the middle-aged wrestling match ends with them both out of breath, gasping for air, and Fire Driller decides that this is not an efficient use of his time, and he moves on to throwing at Thestral. It's now Phase 2, the Murder Fields. So, elsewhere on the court, after everyone has given their balls a tug and torn their eyes away from the sight of Fire Driller and Zim slap fighting each other, Patriarch has missed Diana B, who missed Slavic. But she gave him the ball that he uses to end Zim, so maybe she should feel bad for that? Or, maybe not. But the Wolfhound wins the lupine battle on the edges of the court, sinking his proverbial fangs into Bad Wolf and sending her to the bench. And the kinkiest dodgeballer puts on a Batman outfit and catches a penguin army, sending him to the bench. So it's 7-3. It's about to get worse because even though Thestral cruelly eliminates Elizabeth, allegedly on her captain's orders, it's not like she just wanted to do it or anything. Fire Driller destroys Thestral, while Slavic pretends to be Ninji's friend so he can get close enough to hit him with the dodgeball, and then to add insult to injury, Darklighter catches Ninji's ball, reviving Imam69. It's 7-on-1. Diana B is all on her own, no teammates, no allies, just a ball and an entire team all queuing up to hit her ass. And we're in Phase 3, the Diana B show. So her first order of business is to catch the ball Patriarch threw at her at the beginning of the match, reviving Bahama and making it a 2-on-7. Next up, it's Rick's turn as she catches Darklighter and chooses to eliminate the veteran captain back to the bench. Slavic now has the temerity to throw at her, and whilst she does not catch him, she throws it right back and just hits him in the face, hard enough that even a sleeping Sir Thestral might notice. Fire Driller decides that now is the perfect time to get back on his BS and throws repeatedly at Bahamas, who dodges and ducks like he's in the Matrix, but this is all very distracting for the Wolfhound, who takes his eyes from scanning around him and falls foul of deadly Diana B. It was 7-against-1. It's now 4-against-2. And Kincaid gets involved. Imam and Fire Driller manage to dodge Diana B's attentions as Kinky takes a few calibrating balls before sharpening his scope and sniping the brave rearguard action and eliminating her to the bench. Left alone, Bahamas can't summon the same gusto and is caught by the Patriarchy, which ends the match after Chicken Zim tries to use some psychology to make Patriarch revive instead of eliminate. But he does not succeed. So it was almost a really great comeback story.
Right.
But Kincaid's he's one of those players. Every now and then.
He's a stopper.
He's a stopper. But I mean, Diana B, she was 7-on-1 and she really pulled that game back. But not enough.
Not enough.
Who is the MVP for this game, Al?
So there were a lot of really great performances. I'm going to go with Fire Driller, though. 2 hits, 0 catches. However, he had a 76 win percentage, which, to give you an idea, he played 17 games in that match, which is, to get into double-digit amount of games is, that's a lot to begin with. To get to nearly 20 and have that kind of win percentage, that's pretty gross.
That's really good. That's a lot of hustle.
Yeah,
A lot of Charlie
is.
hustle going on there from Fire Driller, so fair play. And now we're going to go to Court 4, and this sees the other X and O or O and X story of the week is Dodging in the Dark, coming up against Sweet Catcher Mine. Now, Sweet Catch win the Battle of the Races 5-2, although feisty Yarbs begins by talking mad smack at Sturrock in her race ball victory. I believe comparing Sturrock with Oscar the Grouch and taking out the trash. Bork's not having any of that behaviour though, so he launches his ball straight at Yarbs' head as Darth Kronos begins a Sith battle against Darth Binkley. So as Kronos plunges his dodge saber deep into Binks, eliminating him, Yarbo deprives Bork and Beans of his ball and queues up a game with VQ. The Queen of V's takes Yarbs' ball away as Markbot proves that the force is strong with him as he catches Kronos, bringing back Binkley to become more powerful than he can possibly imagine. DG3, meanwhile, is busy catching Marauder Mo by, just let me check my notes, extreme levels of turn 1 BS. So, Al, how would you like this as a start to your game? So you begin with acceptable losses as a gambit.
Okay.
Then you get one of those free explorers pop up as an event.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get a trade mission.
Okay.
Oh, and there's a command ship in the opening row.
Oh. I'd call that my favorite game.
Yeah, that's not a game Marauder Mo. Spoilers, Marauder Mo did not win that game.
Yeah,
so,
you're on the other end of that. There's a reason they put a concede button in there.
Pretty much, yeah. And I think it would have made zero difference to the outcome of this match. Now, there are a couple of ball exchanges before DG3, staying on his train of nonsense, hits every draw trigger in his deck to hit Bork off the court. And maybe, just maybe, he's brought his tournament form to the party. So, Al, you remember how Binkley was cruelly slain and then came back all powerful and stuff? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Binks hits Sturrock into the next galaxy before catching VQ and sending them both to the bench. It's 7 plays 3 in favour of Dodging in the Dark. Is this the game, Al? Is this the game? VQ, caught and benched, catches Binks' throw at her and hands off to Polites, who immediately throws at Binks and is roundly mocked for being in the Air Force but being unable to use verbs. I think it was Bull 1 Jonathan Bishop. So, in fairness, he also managed to avoid using any articles or prepositions either. Just subject-object. So, Binks, unfortunately, does get hit again, Binks fans, and this time he stays dead. Darth Kronos, Guianos, Polites, Markbot 3000, Acox89, and MTG Girl now play pass the ball around as there's a passage of dodging in the dark as someone hit the court lights. Popular theories are that known court wanderers, the Mystic or Osmosis Brent, are responsible. Now,
they can't seem to stay on their own course.
They can't help themselves. Now, not satisfied with throwing balls for fun, Polites also tries to claim Guianos' ball as his own, claiming that he'd used ball 3 to throw at someone else. Perhaps hoping that Simon will not notice and just, taking it by default. However, Simon does notice and calls him out on it immediately. MTG in real life 2 steps her way to knocking out Acox, right as Acox's ball is busy delivering a molar-removing blow to the face of Yarboa. Kronos has been quiet for a little while, but he surfaces behind Markbot with a handful of discards and takes him out in clinical fashion. So it's gone from 7-3 to 4-2, as it's now DG3, Guianos, Rip, and MTG in real life facing down superior Sith Lord Darth Kronos and verbally challenged Politesk. So Darth Kronos is out swinging but misses DG3 as Rip dodges his other ball, and Polites is looking really good against the throw of Guianos until a beautifully planned 6th scrap turn turns the tides, as Confessor Morris, a Wrecker, and a Comet all align to kill the nascent catch before it got started and give Guianos the victory. Pure skill, obviously. So it's 4 against 1, and they are starting to believe. Polites manages to snap off a zombie ball at MTG, and it will go on to hit her back to the bench. But we're going to focus on Darth and Guianos, who are having a good old-fashioned ding-dong in the middle of the court. Kronos narrowly misses Guianos and goes back for seconds, but he is offhanded offhandedly caught and Simon isn't even looking. Investigations are pending against allegations of suspicious shuffling techniques, as Simon's double alliance frigates appeared to be glued together all game, whilst Darth's cards all seemed to be so heavy they defied the laws of physics and continued to sink to the bottom of the deck at every opportunity. Now, for those of you who may have realised it, Dodging in the Dark just grabbed their first win of the season, so congrats to them. No longer O&X. Great job, guys. MVP, Al, in that particular match.
This one, it was also tough to give an MVP because it was the whole team seemed to contribute. Everyone seemed to get some sort of elimination somewhere. So I think I'm going with Guianos. He got one hit and one catch, so he got one of each. And I'm going to give it to him. Because like I said, his whole team contributed. He just happened to get one more elimination than everyone else.
Yeah, and it was one of those games. We've had them in ours where everyone chips in, and no one's really doing everything. So that was it was a good game. So court 5. This brings up Sisso Sit versus Janie's Got a Ball. Captains are Sarah T and Riska. And the match begins with Simply Steph's customary railing against the terrible misfortune that has matched her against an insurmountable foe, this time a duck. Now, Tuna tries to do everybody a favour and eliminate Steph's whiny bud at the offset, but unfortunately, he has grossly underestimated her and she strips the ball from his hands like it's candy for her baby. I think there was a little bit of smack going on here as well, as Steph maybe taunted Tuna with... who's holding the ball now. The Kitty Man, or I think he might even have garnered a new nickname that's got to do with crackers or something like that. But I'll have to speak to my informants who will tell me. The Kitty Man gets the game going by eliminating Sable A, alert to the dangers of Sable Fest from the off. And next up is the sweet and innocent Super Grandma, who with pure skill and absolutely no luck whatsoever eliminates Tuna Slap. I believe Tuna Slap was simply thrilled at the literal turn of events that caused that. Now, Simply Steph and Viselis, who is reportedly missing a finger, are eager to not be left out in the carnage, and they make sure that Tuna and Sabella won't be lonely on the bench, as Cyberduck and Riska are quickly to join them. And if that wasn't enough, Captain Sarah T knocks the Civics player backwards to make it 7 versus 2 in favour of Sisasit. Nothing to it, a stroll in the park, Al, right?
Easy peasy.
Sisasit is also an anagram, though, of Is It SOS? Oh dear. Sliding past the Kitty Man's ball, Dusto now beads up all the women by hitting and eliminating Poop Deck, Sarah T, and Sweet Innocent Super Grandma, who totally doesn't deserve this at all. Dusto also catches Sarah T's throw, reviving Sabella, but loses a ball to Viselis before being mocked roundly, and then Simply Steph takes a bead on PC Load Letter and shows him up to be a bit of an ass clown. So Kitty 13 catches Dusto, eliminating him, but not before his zombie ball takes Viselis' head clean off as retribution. And now, ironically, despite the Kitty Man's best efforts, here we are again, as if fated. It's a 3-on-1, and it's time for Sablefest! Woohoo! She misses Simply Steph, but catches the kitty ball, reviving Tuna Slap, who is properly ready to get the bit between his teeth after his skillful defeat at the hands of Nice as Pie Super Grandma. Steph immediately sees the danger, knowing she's going to be on the chopping block, and introduces her daughter to several choice words as she sees Tuna striding towards her. He starts off with Steph, booping her on the booper, but can't save Sable as Steph drags her ass to the bench, kicking and screaming, and yelling, "Not like this! Do you know who I am? It's my party! Ah, bish!" Or, something like that, but not exactly that. Now, turning his attentions to avoid the incoming balls, which he not only does, but also catches Fred Sucks Lux, and sends him to the bench to think about why you should always buy good cards and not bad ones. And it's a bona fide one-on-one. Cat versus Tuna. So exciting. Ooh. So it's now 9 throws between the Kitty Man and Tuna Slap as they go back and forth trying to hit and catch each other. And if we remember, this is as long as the match on Court 1 lasted. 9 whole throws. Yeah. This is just their rally between them. In the middle of it, Tuna Slap taunts Steph by asking her who he reminds her of holding all the balls. And she says, "Your mom." which
Can't beat a good your mom joke.
and I feel like he might have been asking for that just a little bit.
Yeah.
You can't sass Steph and expect to get away scot-free in that situation. In the end, they knock each other out with consecutive balls. Amazing, we're going to a race-off. Except we aren't. Because as he was getting hit in the face, Tuna had also the wherewithal to grab and catch another 2 of those incoming balls. And he revives Riska and Cyberduck to clinch the match. So, I think if I remember looking at the thread, I'm not 100% certain that Tuna and Agent C-13 didn't just decide to throw all their balls at each other.
Yeah, they just seem to go ham, and we're just like, let's just throw them all at each other, and we'll see what sticks.
Yeah, and C-13 didn't catch anything, and Tuna did. So I guess that happens. But it's an exciting way to end a match. I like to see that, because you can measure and weigh each game, or you can just go YOLO and throw everything. I kind of like that as an ending.
Yeah.
Osmosis Brent and Chaz saying should have said your grandma. Love that. So MVP for this match, Al.
All right, this one's tough because Dusto did a really good job. However, I promised Emily that if Dusto did well, that I would name her as the MVP instead of Dusto again.
Right, okay.
So to avoid that situation, because our team played so terribly, I'm going to give it to the other player on their team who did amazingly well, which was Tuna Slap. 2 hits, 3 catches. He won his race, and he got those clutch eliminations at the end to avoid the race off.
Yeah, that's fair. Tuna's always dangerous as well.
Yeah.
And so with that down, we've got MVP of the round or best performance of round 5, and we've got the Moneyball Award as well, haven't we, Al?
This is true.
Where do these sit?
So the MVP, best performance of round 5, goes to the person who hates to win Dodgeball awards more than anyone else, Commissioner Cranky Day.
Oh, that's fair.
2 hits, 4 catches, 88% win percentage. Just dismantled the formerly undefeated team and probably rigged the whole thing from the beginning.
I'm so happy and not at all jealous.
Yeah.
And how about moving very quickly on from the disaster of giving that to our opponents? Where does the Moneyball Award go to this round, Al?
This week, we had a couple really great contenders for the Moneyball. And I want to give a quick shout to Jester, who was right up there too. But we're going to give it to Deanna B. She was a 5th-round pick for Zim. She managed 3 hits, 1 catch, 2 dodges, and almost dragged her team back from being down 7-1 to a race-off.
And that's very fair. That was a cracking.
That's ridiculous.
A cracking.
I want to say any other week it probably would have been Jester, but Deanna put in just an amazing performance.
Yeah, and I do you know what? Just for the story, I would have loved for that match to have completely turned and for them to have won it, because that would have been an epic comeback. Like round 5 pick turns game would have been superb. Right. But we do have some tables to ogle at and see what we can see as we go into round 6. Now, they are still at the top, never going to get you hit, still clinging on by their fingertips with a 4-1 lead over the pack, who have now kind of grouped up together and are chasing them down. We've got Dodge Like an Egyptian, My Ball on Ya, Janie's Got a Ball, Sweet Catch of Mine, and Dodgy Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, all at 3-2. So literally, like, within touching distance of that first place.
Right.
Doughnut stopped reviving, pulled themselves up to 2-3 with For Whom the Ball Tolls. Dodging in the Dark off the bottom in big news as Sisso Sit have to sit at the bottom of the table there. So some good matches coming. I mean, round 6 has just started. Some good matches gonna kick off there, and we'll see how this table evolves. But we're in the back stretch now, Al. It's 4 games left, and we'll see where this goes. But
we'll see. I mean, there's there's still a lot of dodgeball to be played.
Absolutely, and anything can happen, as we've proven time and again.
Right.
You're never safe wherever you think you
Yeah,
are.
there's no runaway in the top. There's no runaway at the bottom. It could go any way.
I mean, with what, six of the one, two, three, four, five, six, seven of the 10 teams basically are one win away from almost one win away. So six of the 10 teams are one win away from the top. So
Yeah.
literally everything can change in a heartbeat. So good luck in your round sixes. I don't think I've got anything else to add, Al. How about you? But
I can't think of it. The only thing is, I just want to remind everybody how much work you and Cranky put in to dodgeball every week. Um, Cranky, especially, every season puts in a ton of work
he
to
puts
try and
in
make it as fun as possible.
crazy
And
work.
I cannot appreciate all that he does enough. But also, you put in a lot of work to do this show. I don't think people realize how much work you do to produce this show weekly. Um, it is absolutely amazing, and I don't think you get enough credit for that. I just sort of show up and make some rude comments, and but you put in a lot of work, so I just wanted to say thank you and sort of remind people just how much you do for this show. It's amazing.
That's because I skillfully leave my mic off and things like that to make it look like I'm actually a bit of a novice.
That's true. But if
Very
anybody could
deliberate,
see,
obviously.
yeah, if anybody could see the scripts that you have to put together for this and the short amount of time, the fact that it's every week is pretty excellent.
It's
I
fun.
mean,
It's fun.
you go through and you write a whole script, and then I show up at the end and like, ooh, I can make a joke here, I can make a joke here, done.
That's because
So
that's because you're spontaneously funny, whereas I have to work hard at it, if I even am. So there we go. But no, I'm sorry, Sir Thestral, there is no Profanosaurus today because I've recently started a new job, and my work colleagues are the sort of delinquents that really would enjoy the Profanosaurus. So that right now is at the desk at work, awaiting their ongoing pleasure, so that they can enjoy that. But maybe next time, maybe it'll come out and play. Although I will reiterate that I don't really say it, but we do try and keep the show reasonably family friendly. So I'm not sure if the Profanosaurus might have to have a separate entry for it at another time. He used the entire Profanosaurus during your beatdown of. I can neither confirm nor deny how many entries of the Profanosaurus escaped my lips during the last round, Brent. It was a thorough beating, and that is a valid lesson to everyone that you should not play Star Realms after a 12-hour shift of nights. It's not a good idea. Don't do it. And on that bombshell, I think we're going to say goodbye, Al, aren't we? And
I guess so. I think we were sort of hoping we could lead into Dusto, but we're ending a little early. So
we are, but just a
everyone
reminder.
go grab a snack, go grab a drink, and then come back in 15 minutes to watch the Dusto show.
I mean, I blame Court 1 if they hadn't finished quite so quickly. Like, I had to
Because obviously it was Court 1.
I had to pad hard. I had to pad hard to make Court 1 last more than about 30 seconds. Anyway, yeah, have a great round 6, everybody. Catch Dusto in 15 minutes. And we'll see you next week. Next time for some more Dodgeball. It's goodbye from me.
Bye.
It's goodbye from him. Goodbye.